Hey, yo, welcome in, Titan fans. Welcome to another Saturday action packed Reign of Titans tournament. We've got the affiliate teams volume 2 coming at you this morning. My name is Ross, and I'm joined today by a super very special guest. RCS himself is in the house. RCS, how are you today?
Hello, guys. I'm magnificent today. Glad to see so many good players playing today on the finals. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. A little dynamic duo for you guys this morning. We're gonna get this thing pumping very shortly. We've got our block one finals. We've got our we got our block two finals, and then we will have, of course, grand finals. We will be divvying up the $3,000 US dollar prize pool today. Big money. It's gonna be exciting. Gonna be super sick. RCS, what do you think of our first matchup? We have from bracket one, Warlock versus Luisana. We've got Dusk versus Poison.
Amazing that we got a Hazy Nature, right? I mean, I think Hazy should be very flattered by this. So it's a pretty solid Dusk as we see the DNA. He got some really good spells. I think he got a really good matchup against the Poison because he had that purification with Detoxify in DNA. So that can be a very good upper hand for him in the match. Although the Poison is quite strong, we can see that he has like three big defensive cards in his DNA that's going to be very good to hold the game. So I think he's going to be aggressive. Let's see how that's going to go, but I think it's going to be a very good match.
Yeah. It's expensive, but that detoxify is going to be wild. Going to wipe out tons of that into turn damage. Dusk,
Yeah,
always
exactly.
my favorite element. So let's get this party started. We're getting the players lined up as we speak. Y'all, thanks for being here on the stream. We got Anirud, we've got Skog, we got Aunt Sharma. Who else in the chat is hanging out? Give us some shouts. Me and RCS, of course, in the chat. Gaia's up there, the Titan Games queen. How is everybody today? I'm just sipping coffee, waiting for the Titan action to pop off. Skog giving some kisses, little besitos in the chat, huh? They want the full screen. They want the full screen RCS flex. Man benches like 300 pounds. All right, we're getting the Titans locked in here. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of switcheroo. I mean, the previous couple tournaments we've seen Poison sort of lean one way or the other. At least this week, RCS, maybe you've seen something different, but I feel like most of the Poison builds this week are just big hive builds. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the new patch that came out like last month, people are coming out to the battles with two decks. So one always gonna be like a hive, so they're gonna be very aggressive. With the last builds that we have, the last patches, they become very good with the hive. And yeah, almost all the time they will come with a secondary deck with the stall. So might just be a surprise for the opponent. Who knows? So we'll see how that one's gonna play out.
Here we go. Players are ready. We've got Hazinator, the Dusk, coming in versus Dizzy, the Poison Titan. Let's get it on. This is bracket finals. It's going to be, and somebody clarify if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a best of 3 and grand finals is a best of 5.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Very interesting option of the weapon from Hazy Nature going with the Forsaken Sword. I think it's been a long time that I don't see that coming out so far. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it used to be a staple in the meta. It used to be like the sort of your go-to stat debuffer, right?
For sure. It used to be very good in the past with those debuffs for 2 turns. Now it's only 1 turn, but it's also very good if you're the first one to make the move in the round. That can make a huge difference.
Yeah, especially I feel like the meta right now. There's quite a few elements that are just playing like buff up your favorite stat and deal tons of damage, right? So any debuffs, which is why we're seeing tons of the Mad Mirror also.
Correct. Let's see how that's going to go. Good luck to both of them.
Here we go. Mulligans out first. Decisions. Hazenator, again, looking for those ever important detoxifies. Dizzy trying to get the early, I don't know, poison gas, quick stab, all of these toxin cards.
Yeah, we can see that Dizzy came with the webbed shield, so he's probably gonna slow down the Dusk game by trying to do some binds or maybe getting more cards each round with the open palms. We'll see how if that's gonna work for him. Very
Yeah,
interesting
bind.
choice.
Ooh, Deadly Gas, one of those biggest damage over time scrolls. We'll see if it's going to be a turn one hive bomb here. Quick jab as well. Going to stack up that end of turn. Speaking of stacking, the Dusk over here putting 2 stacks of the drained keyword as well onto Dizzy. Mana overflow for Hazenator, but I'm not sure that they care too much about that. Dizzy with the agility advantage, at least for now. Maybe they sneak something like 1,000 Cuts in as scroll slot 1. Nope, gonna put up a little defensive cover. Hide behind those pillars. Cancels out a non-damaged scroll, though, which I think is not the direction they wished that would have gone. There's more of those drained keywords. Hazenator just pulling the life out of Dizzy. Hopeless Grasp, going to put more on. Drained all the way up to four applications. Wild. And then the Hex of Dust. Hex of Dust to cap off the turn. Just staying alive. Dizzy sort of working slow and steady, as the poisons do. What do you think about the mid game here, RCS? Is it leaning one way or the other for you? No. Hard to say at this point. Magicka looking nice for Dizzy, getting it up to 19. Again, still having the agility advantage with 3. Not substantial, but it only takes 1 point, folks. 1 point. Acid Rain, again, that end of turn damage you can see on the left side of your screen, all those red marks, but then they get wiped away mid-turn there by the Detoxify.
Those Detoxifies making a change.
Yeah, which instantly Dizzy applies even more end of turn damage from creepy crawlers. Five scrolls in hand, 10 in the bucket for Hazenator, 6 in the hand, 11 in the bucket for Dizzy. Must be playing some open palms this turn. Mana drain, going to take over half of Dizzy's mana. There's the open palms from Web of Lies. The webbed shield, like RCS was saying, so good at extending sort of your reach into your deck as well as preventing your opponent from finding the things they need to in their deck. Forsaken Slash from the Forsaken Blade. Gonna peel away some stats just in time to neuter all of Dizzy's stats down to 0. And now that agility bonus going to Hazenator with a single point of agility. Oh my. The plot thickens right here, people. 5 scrolls left, 5 in the bucket. We are officially in sort of the mid to end game. We know that Poison has strong end game. Hazenator just trying to stay above sort of a certain threshold of health so that they can't just get sort of hive wiped. Just the relentless draining here. Loveless Lunge, again, stealing health from Dizzy. Iron Maiden, an interesting in-game here. Oh, Wing Slash. Dizzy's in trouble. 1 scroll could do it. Does Hazenator have it in the scroll slot 3? Drain life for 34, and that game is over. Hazenator takes game 1. over Dizzy.
Incredible match. I mean, it's very hard to hold a Dusk like that. So I think the Poison's gonna have a hard time in the second match trying to hold that up.
Yeah, I feel like their draws just weren't just didn't get the string, right? So Dusk just had just turn after turn of lifesteal, 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 lifesteal every single turn.
Yeah, that's
And
a
the same
very
sort of
hard.
happened. The same sort of happened for Poison, but then the Detoxify just tears down all that progress all at once.
Yeah, the thing with the Poison is just in the end of the turn. So you give the Dusk a lot of time to put that healing up, that drain, stack up drain, and just heal a lot. So it's very, very tricky for the Poison to counter that Dusk. We'll see that he also the Dusk has a lot of detoxifies as well, so that can be even harder for that Poison. We'll see if he manages to get around that. One fun
Yeah,
fact
gonna
is
be
that this tournament we saw and that we had like 39 Dusks and 39 Poisons, so we're the big majority of this tournament, hugely taking over. That's crazy, isn't it?
that is a wild comparison to the other elements. Just super massive representation from Dusk and Poison today. And Hazinator is sort of built, like RCS said, sort of built as a poison crusher with the double detoxify and all this life steal, just staying alive long enough and just
I think
thwarting essentially the whole
it,
plan of Poison.
it's one of those players that probably was in the ranked a lot, and then he faced a lot of Poisons, and then he was like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna lose to a Poison. I can lose to anything, but I'm not losing to a Poison." So then he
There you
pulls up all
go.
those detoxifies.
Yeah, made an informed decision for sure. Yeah, I actually saw that. Temporal shift didn't work from Iron Maiden. They were still taking damage
Yeah,
that
because the,
turn.
the, the Iron Maiden now has shifted to another card, so now it buffs the defense by 30 for 2 turns, and it's no longer a temporal
Uh,
shift for.
no more shift. I see. Iron Maiden getting a little facelift. Here we go into game two, folks. Hazinator could take it to grand finals if they can win this match. Dizzy's going to have to win 2 in a row to move to grand finals. Yeah, there's the Iron Maiden. Plus 30 defense for 2 turns. And what a great time to draw that for Dizzy. Oh,
Yeah, we
and
can see how
defensive
much he
stance.
stacks. He
Woo!
stacks so much defense. The problem is if the Dusk now has a lot of true damage, so sometimes it doesn't work that much well.
Yep. But behind this big defensive wall, go ahead and throw those end of turn damage cards. Ooh, Dizzy's defense gets peeled back, and now they are vulnerable for scroll slot 4. No, sorry, that was the end of the turn.
Yeah, big
But all
detoxify on that deadly gas. That's 80 mana that Dizzy just threw away. Bit tough. Let's see how that plays out.
yeah, one of the biggest single scrolls to grab with that detoxify. And now here comes the barrage. All green stats for Hazy, all red stats for Dizzy, putting up the run for cover. Let's see what gets snapped. Oh, rejection. Not necessarily the biggest damage scroll in the deck, but it was going to add another layer of that drained keyword. Vampiric Gaze, more health. Creepy Crawlers, more end of turn damage. So it seems pretty similar to game one. Hazy just sort of being very comfortable, having their way with those drained keywords. Dizzy had those defensive scrolls on turn one, which was really helpful, but with the detoxify right after that turn, it was sort of all progress lost. Chat, who you guys think? Who you guys got on this one? Game two going to Dusk or game two going to Poison? Archmage, interesting scroll, but for the rest of the turn, all damage going to be dealt with that stat. Oof, with no defense, Dizzy is primed for some pain here. Cleansing Veil, there it is. Oof. Dust versus Sky 50-50. What about Dusk versus Poison? Yeah, Dust vs. Sky is a way more, I'd say, draw heavy matchup. This one is the builds are very important, in my opinion.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, we can see that Dizzy's mana sometimes is not holding up. Let's see if he can make it up.
Yeah, just not really making too much headway stacking those poison effects. Hazy was just built for this. Open palms, though, going to help them reach even quicker through the deck for the next 5 turns. That's crazy. Crazy. If you think that your deck only has 30 scrolls, the fact that you get to draw 5 extra scrolls is wild. The percentages.
That just became a very good card. Five turns is a lot. And when you think about bind also for 5 turns, that's one card less for your opponent. So when you think about Titans that need to come up with a combo, when you buy them for 5 turns, it gets their life so much harder.
Yeah. I mean, you can draw 5 cards in, I mean, drawing via burn, right? So you have to essentially you're wasting like 3 or 4 burns or requiring your opponent to use that many more. Surge Serum. Speaking of scrolls that we did not see before this week, right? Dizzy is sort of in a tough spot here, but again, we're getting down to the bottom of the deck where we know some spiciness is hiding. The problem is they don't have any stacks of toxin or poison damage on Hazinator right now.
Yeah, we're coming to the last cards of each one. So we'll see if they both will have damage to finish each other.
Yep, Dizzy's going to empty their scrolls first, thanks to that bind keyword, or sorry, open palms. Hey, there wasn't a temporal shift because Iron Maiden doesn't do that anymore, unless they played a different scroll. But I was mistaken. I thought Iron Maiden was still that, but it's not. Ooh, mana drain going to be clutch here. Gonna swing the mana goals. Oh man, speaking of, but with one agility, Hazinator's still gonna get to act first here. That slow scroll becoming very popular because of times like this where the end game is super critical of who gets to resolve first. Stomp. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. There's that end of turn damage, just enough to make it wild. Both players have all their scrolls in hand. 5 in the hand for Hazinator, 4 for Dizzy. It's Acid Rain, though, gets to respond first. Broken Shriek, though, is going to deal the damage, and Hazinator is going to grand finals. Congratulations. Well fought by Dizzy. But to be honest, the scrolls just were not in their favor. That was an uphill battle for sure for the Poison, but they did well. And we've got our first grand finalist.
Very, very interesting match. It was so hard for the Poison for that matchup. So many detoxifies. With only two
Yep.
games, it's very hard to learn your opponent, how they play, and work around that. So it's a very, very, very good match. Hazy Nature took this one. Huh?
Yeah, that was wild. I mean, the only what do? You just pray that Hazinator has all their detoxifies in their last 5 scrolls. Like I think that's the only real way that match becomes any closer.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if the Poison had like the leaked one. So I think one way you could be lucky enough to get those mana drains and their mana leak in the beginning, so you just hold back the Dusk's game, but you also need to be lucky that he doesn't draw any good cards.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Or of course, you could just draw the magic 5 scrolls at the beginning and hit for 325 on the first turn.
yeah, very interesting. I think now we're going to another matchup that's very similar, isn't it?
Very, very similar, folks. Bracket 2 featuring Solstice versus Lynn. Another Dusk versus Poison bout. I haven't looked at these DNAs. How do you feel about this matchup in terms of scrolls, RCS?
Yeah, well, the Poison has a very good DNA here. We can see some defensive cards dealing damage, so he's very high on damage for his DNA. He's got an Alchemist as well, So you got to be very careful playing that Alchemist to decrease his defense by 30. So he's gonna build a good window for the Dusk to come up attacking in the next round. But seeing his other scrolls here, yeah, I think it's gonna be very hard for that Dusk to go through as well. Looks like he has a lot of healing. We'll see. The Dusk will have to play very well too. Now checking the Dusk,
Nice.
yeah, we got some very good life steal and drained cards here. He got Rejection, Loveless Lounge, so 2 drained cards in his DNA. He got Revitalize, which can be very interesting in this match as well. He got a Meditate, so probably it's going to be a Dusk that's not going to run out of mana. We'll see how the drawings help them in this match.
There we go. There we go. And I mean, just before it becomes a thing, we have to say the Ross RCS combo. We love all teams equally, of course, and we're rooting for all players. But Lynn playing for the greatest team in all of Reign of Titans, Team Fury. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I can't say too much on that, but we all know who the best team is. Bro.
That's right. That's right. And we're canceled. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, big shouts to all the teams getting all their players practiced up, all the captains and owners getting their Titans tailored to this new patch. I think it's a super fun patch. Nice. I think we have a really good spectrum right now of aggro and control, depending on what elements you want to play.
Yeah, I think the biggest turnaround in this patch is the 30 cards deck. So everybody can build a deck of 30 cards. I mean, it gets very hard for the stalls, but at the same time, you dilute all your deck. So it can be harder to get your best cards if you build a 30 cards deck. So it's an exchange. I think all the players will have to experience a lot, practice a lot, see how that turns out for their decks. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah. Aside from that, I think the part of the bind and the open palms, I think it can be a big game changer in the upcoming tournaments. We'll see if that shows up a bit more. If you play a bind that's 5 turns and then you just throw one of the rock red cards, then it's another bind and you get a double bind at the same turn. So there are very big combos to be done here with the binds. We'll see if somebody's gonna come up with that.
Yeah, I mean it's not out of the question to like I could see a deck where you keep your opponent to three scrolls in their hand for like 6 or 7 turns.
And the good thing is
And
that
that's so limiting.
it's not too broken because the game also brought a lot of open palms and a lot of restore cards. So that can be a big counter as well. So there is workarounds for that. We'll see if people will start bringing a secondary deck to fight the binds, or we're gonna have a secondary deck still to find just the stalls. It's a big range of possibilities now.
Yeah. Good options. And now it's also interesting with 30 scrolls, you can slot in more situational scrolls. We've sort of gone beyond the things that you must have sort of in your deck, and now there's a lot more creative room for people to, especially with 2 decks per Titan, you can cover a lot more bases with your sort of situational scrolls.
Very well put. Completely. That's very on point here. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
well when it jumps from a tier to another, from like a mid player to a very good player, is knowing to identify this situational card. Sometimes you have a very good card in your hand, but it's not the perfect card for that round or for the match. So you just gotta burn it because you know there are better cards in your deck that you can just try to fish them.
Yep. Yep. You're no longer looking for like, well, the best, this will do for now. It's like, no, there are situations where you're hoping to get very certain things, and it's fun that we have mechanics now to help us get through the deck quicker and find the ones that you exactly want.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a very tricky game here for the Dusk. I think trying to fight around that weapon, trying to not get some mana overflow. So it's gonna
Yeah.
have to have a big mana control here. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely a juggling act here. This is bracket finals of second bracket, folks. This is Shaz Poison, the Poison Titan, versus Zico, the Dusk. Weaponry, we've got Merlin and Webbed Shield, and then we have Mallet and Spike Shield. So, like RCS just said, this is going to be a very strategic battle. There's going to be lots of mana things to watch out for. There's also going to be big damage swings. Just something for everybody, you know? All right. Healing Nature early for Shaz. Doesn't want to die early, trying to stick around at least to the mid game. Get those poison and toxin scrolls to work. Shout out to that one in the chat. And OX Collins. What's up? BVT, Adex Prime, 2 Heyas, chat. What's better than 1 Heya? 2 Heyas, of course. Glad you guys are here hanging out with me and RCS on the Reign of Titans Affiliate Teams 3 Volume 2 tournament on a Saturday. Thanks for being here, y'all. Appreciate it. The rare riposte coming out from Shaz Poison. Maybe that was to make way for something larger coming in scroll slot 3, trying to eat up some run for cover or otherwise. Steel Punch also going to be leveraging that defensive stat. Maybe they know something we don't know, chat. Cheering for Solstice. Heck yeah. Give it up for these players. Solstice versus Lin. The game has too many detoxifies. Just like Blockbuster. You either adapt or you die. Adapt or die.
Poison reaching out at half HP. Critical moment.
Yeah, this is where the tides may turn, or at least we'll see sort of the true face of the match. I think Shaz still has one more turn of Healing Nature, so oh my, Agony is going to cut it way down. Drink Acid just in time, though. Shaz Poison has seen the future. Here comes Spinning Shield. Zico is pushing hard here. 2 heavy hitters just before the disrupt. Oh, man, stop the barrage. But Zico might be done for the turn. We'll see if they have anything in scroll slot 4 that's going to get hit with that disrupt. Ooh, it's the mana drain. That would have really, really put Shaz Poison in a tough spot, losing the last 50 of their mana on that turn. It's not that Zico necessarily needed it for themselves, but they would have really loved if Shaz didn't have that. But right now, Dusk in control. They also have the agility lead here. It's going to be interesting to see. Can they close out 88 damage this turn? I'm trying to think of Dusk scrolls that could do it with base stats. I don't think, I mean, Agony's already been played. Mutual Torment for 70. That's close. If I'm Shaz, I'm sweating right now. Titan Bliss, speaking of scrolls that got way better this patch. 25 mana for 50 health. So good, especially if it's in your DNA and used to be terrible. You've been waiting for this day. Is it enough? Shatter Shriek, not quite. Shaz hangs on, but here comes the mallet toss from Zico. And game 1 goes to Lin playing the Dusk Titan over Solstice playing Poison.
Absolutely. No time to breathe for that Poison. It was just push and damage from that Dusk. Very, very strong. Very hard for the Poison. We see that he got locked up with some mana cards in his hand. So it's very difficult to manage your mana too.
Yeah, I think that was when you're playing. That was the. Go ahead.
When you're playing Install Poison, it's very hard to manage those. You got basically, if you're playing Stall, you're probably gonna have like 4 cards to give mana to your opponent. So once you get 2 of those in your card in your hand, you need to hold them up until you get the other 2 so you can make a combo. Because if you just give your opponent like 150 mana, that's not enough to kill him, and then you're probably just gonna give him an advantage. But at the same time, that's your main strategy is to finish your opponent with those cards. So they just get stuck in your hand until you can get them out. So that's a very tough way to manage your cards as Stall Poison too.
Yep. Once you draw, Honeypot and one of the fish, then you're just there waiting, and you're praying for either the rest of the combo or that Open Palms card to come through, give you a little more freedom. But Zico was not having it. They just said all gas, no brakes. I mean, it's funny that we literally said that one turn, we're like, well, here's where, the battle's really going to shake out. And that was exactly when Zico just hit the gas pedal.
Big card played by Zico here. Joke's on you. We'll see how that's gonna play out. Not sure if it was the
Interesting.
same deck she used in the last game, but that's very, very interesting how it's gonna play out. We'll see.
Yeah, joke's on you. Really good at again busting up that combo. Now that they know that Shaz Poison's playing sort of into that plan. As soon as you throw away, I don't know, two of those, do you think the combo is good if you only have two? Probably not, right?
It depends only if your opponent has like a mana well or something, but if not,
Right.
then it's very, very hard. That's definitely unexpected for that poison, I'd say. That's something that comes to you and you're just like, oh my god, what am I gonna do now?
Yep. So that's at the end of this turn, yeah? Anything
Yeah,
left in
correct.
Shaz Poison's hand is going to be pitched. One less scroll in the deck, one less tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, that's such a combo breaker if you get the correct cards in your opponents.
Which again, jokes on you, it used to be sort of game breaking in the way that it was working. And now, with the potential of having six scrolls in your hand, you can throw away a substantial part of your deck if you get caught in the wrong timings.
Yeah, and if it gets you with a low mana, and that's it. If you get open palms, that's six cards that are gone away. So that's big,
Yep.
big, big.
Yep.
We see
We'll
that
see if
Poison
we
lost one card.
if we see the return of the jokes on you, rooted resilience. I mean, you'd have to work hard to get rid of 30 scrolls, but that strategy is still very alive and well. Good point from the chat here. Why poison play stall? No Titan's going to have damage shortage with 30 scrolls. That is true. I mean,
That's
Titans used
something
to just run out of damage.
that's something that we would think about it like in the past before we started the tournament. That's something I would also think about. But a lot of people also created decks like in a more balanced way. So when you think about situational cards, sometimes you're just gonna put some healing cards in your deck. So you're not gonna put completely just damage cards. So that's the point. Most of the
Mm,
titles now with three more cards, they didn't include more damage cards because sometimes your mana as well just gets locked up. So you need to think a lot about that. So that's why I think the stalls are still in the game now.
wow, that resolve just got stuffed. That was massive for Zico. They're sort of crying over there. Wanted to have that resolve hit, but X'd it out. Shaz Poison with plenty of health right now, getting down to that portion of the game that they are going to be favored in. We'll see if Zico decides to hit the gas again, or if they want to sort of wait. Run for cover, going to buy at least one scroll slots of time, and maybe a boatload of damage. Oh, Screech! Screech
Yes.
is the catch. Again, not really the one Shaz wanted to block. Would much rather have a hopeless or loveless lunge or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is that run for cover now it's like spending 60 of your mana, so that's a very, very heavy card now.
Mm-hmm.
He got that
Yeah.
mana drain to look it up, so that's good.
Health totals, they look similar, but they're actually 100 apart here, thanks to the base stats of these Titans. Mana totals looking fine, at least, and no one's in crisis mode yet. But again, we are getting to that part of the game where Shaz Poison has crafted this deck to be an end game slayer. We'll see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, we see that Zico still has 15 cards in his deck, and
Yep.
the poison is just getting out to his final cards. Let's see if he has the damage to kill Zico. What's gonna play out? It's a very interesting matchup so far.
Steel Punch with 0 defense, just going for it. Here we are with the
Zico is
Shadow
very
Veils.
low. Oh, we got that bind. So we're probably gonna see a double bind on Zico now, unless he clears it out. Yeah, that's only three cards for Zico now in his hand. Very
Oof.
difficult.
Especially trying to break up, sort of the in-game plan. You want to have all of your tools at your disposal, but only three in the hand for Zico.
While
And this
Shaz is
bind
just
is going
getting six cards and he plays. Wow, that's a big
to
one.
agony for half health. Only had to pay 40 for that thanks to cleansing, or sorry, Shadow Veil. Spinning Shield, is it enough? Not quite, but the gas is definitely on here. Zico trying to close it out. Riposte going to hit and move Zico into double digits. Oh, but the mutual torment. The floating skulls are out, and this game is over. Zico takes it 2-0 over Shaz Poison, and we've got ourselves a grand finals in the making. GG's to both players. That was wild.
Wow, amazing game, amazing game. But we can see that how hard it is for the Poison to hold it up. And I think that's the element of surprise with this game. It's coming out with a jokes on you that completely just breaks your whole strategy, something that you're not thinking about. And then you start thinking, oh, maybe she will have another jokes on you. How am I gonna work around that? So that was a big, big surprise. I'm pretty sure Solstice was not waiting for that Poison. Yeah, it was a big, big play from Liam.
Yep. Threw them off their game for sure. It didn't really snipe. I mean, I think it sniped an alchemist, so that, I mean, tons of health, but it didn't hit any of the combo cards. So Lynn didn't necessarily know that, but also the Poison didn't know what was coming afterwards. So well played to Solstice.
Yeah,
GG's.
we can. Now that the game is over, we can talk a bit more. But we saw that Solstice had in his first hand when he got the jokes on you, he had a big alchemist in his hand. So that would be like 100 HP more. But that was just round two for Solstice. He had another healing card in his hand. He had to make decisions. So basically, he lost one of his big healing cards from that round, which makes a difference in the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that was a
if we
little
imagine
wild.
that that tricks on you was not played in the first round, then the poison could have just waited a bit more, and we will get that healing card landed. That would be huge for him. 100 HP more, could hold the game a lot more. But
Yeah, because
yeah, that's something.
Poison was just sort of taking control in terms of limiting resources for Dusk, also building that combo within their hand. So we were probably only a turn or two away from them unleashing all four of those mana shenanigans Scrollerinos.
For sure. Now we're going to see a Dusk versus Dusk. That's going to be ultra interesting. We're just going to see those HP bars going down and up again. That's going to be very, very cool.
Yep, it's gonna be odd. I'm trying to think like differences of the decks, right? So what do we think are the notable differences?
Check out here the deck. Yeah, so we see that Hazinator has two big heavy cards on his deck with Protection Ward and Purification. Both of them cost 70. So
Mm.
probably, we'll see. Those are big situational cards. Like Detoxify today can cancel out, for example, Blood Magic. So imagine we land one of those. So
Oh,
we don't know if he's gonna play that out. He's gonna burn that card. It's very situational, and you gotta be very lucky to get one of those old Dusk Blood Magic on it. But I think they're very, very similar in DNA. We see that Warlock Hazinator, he has Headbutt in the DNA, which is like a big, big card that gets you in front of the game for 4 rounds with that agility. So that's a big card to have. I don't think Lean have that card. So that's going to be a
hmm
big advantage for him. Yeah. Yeah, we
yeah.
see very,
I
very
can't say I've ever
confident.
seen. I've never seen a blood magic get sniped like that. That would be wild.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. We don't know. It's a big element of surprise which decks both of them is going to come around with. This flexibility today of having two decks is just very, very interesting. Very cool to see people playing out different strategies with those. So we're going to see how that plays out. We still see some players that still just go with one deck, which is completely fair. But when you come to two decks to the tournament, you're way more prepared. Sometimes you just get an opponent which is like totally against what you built. So that's when you put your secondary deck to play around.
Yeah, I mean, especially in grand finals when you have a best of five and you can sort of take notes in game one and heck, take notes in game two if you have to, and then just try to win the final three. But
Sure.
interesting. Best of five definitely opens itself up to a little more of that flexibility of which deck to bring, which weapons to take. Yeah, definitely a really like that change of having 2 decks has opened up the strategic doors so
For
wide.
sure.
And I think
For
this
sure.
patch has opened it even further, you know, again with 30 cards in the deck, as well as sort of these situational things that are now being included to you know, you're not I feel like people in the past were building their decks to push their own agenda. And now, like you were saying, more balanced decks, it's more of they're sort of hate drafting certain scrolls against certain situations.
For sure. Yeah, and that completely make a difference. Of course, there is the element of luck where you get the best cards in the beginning,
Yeah,
but deck building is still like the best part. And it's gonna be a
yeah.
very fervorous match. Now we're seeing that players today are fighting for a chance to play the final championship, which is completely crazy, which is so nice. We can see a lot of people playing ranked now. Like I can't remember the last time I tried to play a ranked match, and I
Especially when the qualifications kind of trickle down, right? So a lot of the players that are going to be up there in the ranked leaderboards are also already going to be qualified. So it's going to open the door, just sort of literally as it says, for those last minute qualifications, people trying to get in on that big money tournament.
yeah, for sure. That's gonna be super interesting to see. Next week we get on the next Saturday. Next week we get 4 more qualifiers, so the finalists, so we can see the blood in their eyes.
More emphasis on what is being drawn and sort of those open palm cards, for example, things that are going to give you the slightest edge. You know, we talked about headbutt before. So that agility bonus going to be massive if Hazenator can find it.
Big exchange of stats here.
Yeah. This is the Dusk way, right? Nothing is permanent. Everything is sort of fluid. Your health bar is fluid. Your mana bar is fluid. Your stat line. There's the blood magic from Hazenator. And it does
Completely
not
healed.
get
It's
sniped.
very good. Very well played.
Yeah, Hazenator ends the turn with buffed stats, full health, and full mana bar. It's almost like they just restarting the match just with the edge.
Yeah, big. 2 cards of stealing 10 stats for 2 rounds. That's very big. That steel card, the defensive card, was a very good card that came out to this patch. So we can see that when you get that one and you get the Mad Mirror that's also steals 2, that's a big
Yep.
combo. That's 20 status more for you and 20 less for your opponent. That's a lot.
Yeah, which for most Titans is base stats, right? So you're stealing everything they own. The temporal shift has been played. So no damage done this for the remainder of turn, and will
Ooh,
all be
that's so
resolved at the
big
end of
from
next
Lynn.
turn.
She got that open palms right on top of that double bind, which was so lucky.
Oh yeah. Trying not to get backed into a corner, which is what that double bind does for you. Just really ties you up.
Yeah, and another thing is that the Hazenator, he played that run for cover but didn't catch anything. So he was
Oh
expecting to
yeah.
get at least a good card from that.
Drain life on 70 Magicka. Gonna get Hazenator pretty well done. There's the tackle, exchanging the bind to the other side now. Mystic Ritual, another scroll that has been on the up and up recently. Gives you that Magicka buff and the drained keyword. Oh, Zico is in the danger zone officially, especially with Hazenator at 70 Magicka. That wears off at the end of turn. Whew. And we're back to yellow health each.
Yeah, it's a pretty even matchup so far. Hazenator is slightly on the head here, but now playing just 3 cards, while Zico has 5 in his hand. Yeah, it's a very equal match.
Yep. None of the current stats are where they're going to be when we end this match. It's going to be pretty crazy. Still plenty of action, but again, that bind still lasting this turn. Hazenator only able to play 3. The good news is they had 3 pretty darn good ones in their hand here. They play Mana Drain and Scroll Slot 2. Zico down at 20, but don't need it for this drain life. And then major recovery as well. So in terms of the three scrolls you want to get stuck with, they were three pretty good ones for Hazenator.
Correct. Yeah, we can see that Zico got a bit short on mana. We'll see how that's how she's gonna work that out.
We also have the ringer. I mean, we saw Zico play what's the Agony for 95 in the bracket finals. So I think that's a number that Hazenator is going to be keeping in mind of, like, you know, stay away from the double digit healths because it could be zapped.
Wow, minus 20 all stats. That's gonna be big
Oof.
for this round.
And
Taking
not to mention the
advantage.
78 damage. Zico on the back foot here. Oh, plays the major recovery just in time.
That could have just saved him.
Still plenty of damage this turn though. There's 48 more.
Wow. What a sequence.
Gaining 7 back, which feels pretty bad compared to this Hex of Dusk for 60.
Oh my
Zico,
god.
it's hurt.
Ooh,
And again,
Zico
they still have one whole more. Oh, there we go. So they've endured the stat debuffs. Zico with the agility boost here. What's going to be scroll slot 1? 65 mana. We've already seen their major recovery.
Completely saved Zico in the last turn. Zico plays first on this round. Let's see what's going to come up.
Lifesteal on base stats with no drained. Oh, it's not enough. Mutual Torment comes out. Hazenator closing out game number 1 of Grand Finals. That was so hair, just hair thin, razor thin, people.
That was a pretty even match. Pretty even. Very hard. We see a lot of exchange of status. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult if you land your healings very well. I think the difference here is going to who stacks more drained and make that big healing from those lifesteal cards. I think that's, for me, that's going to be the difference here in this game.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, in terms of weaponry, it could also come down to who draws their debuffs and who doesn't, right? But because neither one of them is playing, I think one of them is playing Arcane Gambit for the Magicka increase, but I don't think they're playing like lots of buffs, so the debuffs hit even harder.
That's true. That's true. We'll see if one of them is going to make any changes to weapons here. I'm not sure that's going to come up. We're probably going to see those exchanges of status going up and down again.
Yeah, I think that was so razor thin, and with it being a best of 5, I don't know that I would switch anything yet. You know, if Lynn goes down 0-2, maybe we make adjustments, but I think that was. Oh, we do see an adjustment.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Just come with another surprise.
Sword, there you go. Switching up main hand and offhand weapon. Lynn choosing the sword and web shield.
This just made everything more interesting, didn't it? Wow,
that's very, right.
Very cool to see. I love it.
She's doing it for the content, you know. Give the people what they want. I thought Forsaken Sword was pretty darn fun to watch. So
tell me what people are saying in the Twitch chat, because I can't see it now.
Well, the Twitch chat, it's sort of lagging / disconnecting, but
really?
That's a bit unfortunate. We'll get it back as soon as we can. If anybody's hearing this, maybe they're still watching on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube stream. Here we go. Dusk v Dusk, game 2 of Grand Finals. Whew, Lynn playing Zico is down 0-1 right now. Just a super thin matchup here. Every decision, every scroll, every placement counting here.
For sure. And now we're just we're on the shadows here, right? We're just, oh my god, what's gonna come up from this Dusk with this exchange of weapons? Maybe he's gonna be able to land a double bind for longer. That's gonna be huge for him.
And for all we know, I mean, Zico could be playing a totally different deck. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
It's not always a
100%.
giveaway, but making such a substantial change in weaponry, you could also easily make a substantial change to the deck.
Yeah. He got
Ooh,
an
there,
open palm would help a lot, but
purification,
then just got a
sending.
dispel. That's big.
Whew,
Yeah.
that
That's
was
five
wild. I
rounds
mean,
of
you're going to pay
dispel.
70 for it, but it's good.
Yeah, for sure. He still got the upper hand, more HP. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the open palms was less detrimental. If Zico had the bind and then that got wiped as well, that would have been more tears, I
Very
think.
well put. For sure, for sure. I
Mutual
also agree.
Torment gets canceled. There we see the
Yeah,
defense
that's
increased. There's the
yeah.
headbutt we were talking about, and now Hazenator going to be able to play first for a few turns.
Oh, we
Oh,
got
the
a
blood
big,
magic.
big blood magic landing. That's very good. Well, that was
Snaky.
almost in the same turn that Hazinator played the Toxify in the last turn. Imagine
Yeah.
it would be so close.
Oh man, I would probably lose it. I got to be honest.
That would be
Hazenator with
ultra
all
good.
the stats now. What does Zico have to answer?
Wow.
Tons of mana though. I mean, Zico's got lots of options. They don't have the agility, and now we get the arcane, which means again Hazenator going to react first, regardless of speeds for this turn.
We got a temporal shift.
Oh, temporal shift!
Double
What a
bind.
turn to use it. But that means Zico has to be sort of planning a turn ahead at this point. You got to know that damage does resolve eventually.
For sure, for sure. Not sure that was the best card to play at this turn, but hopefully that will make a difference for the player.
Oh man, and Zico spends almost a whole bar of mana here.
Yeah, the thing about the temporal shift now is in the past, in the last meta, we saw that it was possible to clean up all the damage that was stacked with the temporal shift, but now that's no longer possible. So I hope all the players are aligned with that, updated. But now
Yeah.
the main thing about the temporal shift for me is like you have to use it in a round that you're about to lose. For a dusk, then a turn that you can do a lot of healing from the life steal might be the best choice. Because if you use it in the first round, might be not that positive for you because all the damage is just gonna come back at you in the second round, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just pushing back the inevitable unless you have a plan to deal with that massive damage output at the end of the turn. You can no longer just wipe it away and pretend it never happened.
For sure.
There's
Oh,
the
we got
bind.
that's big. Oh, that's so big. Now we're gonna see 5 rounds of drawing 3 cards. Unless Hazinator gets a restore to come back from that, that's gonna be big.
Yep, definitely going to buy
That's
some
strategy we
time.
talked about.
And Zico not dead from the temporal shift. We see the damage come through. They did well to know where that was going to land.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, luckily the Hazinator didn't apply that much damage in that round, so not much came back. But I'm not sure.
No.
I saw that I think he played some lifesteal cards in that turn. Not sure it came back to life for him in the other round. Did you see that? That's a good
I
play
didn't
from whoever.
notice, but I think in the past the damage comes through, but you don't get the life steal, right? There's a big one for 70. Zico down into the red health. Still not. No scroll's going to deal 137, but especially with only 40 mana and 3 scrolls, Hazenator is definitely having to think harder about decisions than Zico right now.
Sure, but well, Hazinator also the Dusk has a lot of HP cost cards, so who knows? Maybe Hasten still comes back from that. But it's a very tricky situation to just have 3 cards in your hand, isn't it?
Here we go. What does Zico have planned? They start with a Magicka buff. Here comes Loveless to make the health totals flip-flop. Rejection on the other side. Zico also trying to get drained to work. Loveless lunge. Is it enough with no 76? And back and forth we go. Hex of Dust for 58. Blood Magic. Oh, Hazenator spending their last health points, choosing the high road. And
What
we
a
are at
match.
1-1, folks.
What a match. But we saw that even with the double bind, the Hazy Nick were still very close to locking up that game. We saw that the cards he drawed, if he had 20 more mana, he would have locked that match up. But that was
Yep.
so close, very well played from both of them. Lin had this really amazing comeback and surprise with the double bind. That's for sure. Hazy Nature was not expecting that. But that was very, very fun to see it going on.
Yeah, and we saw the volcanic thrust, their second to last turn, really set it up. I mean, with that extra lifesteal card, just pulling themselves back into that battle. Whew, what a wild time. Um, what was I
Very
gonna say?
wild. And now one
Man.
mental game starts, right? Because well, we don't know what kind of secondary deck Hazy Nature got there, but now Hazy Nature knows a bit more about Lean's possibilities with her deck. So now he might start the match thinking, oh, is she gonna come up with those double binds again? Should I save my restore cards for the right moment? Should I not? Maybe she switch decks. So it starts this like mental game now, which is super, super interesting. We all seen this before playing like poisons and the forest. You start the match and you're, oh my god, am I gonna face a damage poison or am I gonna face a stall poison? So that
Exactly.
it's very difficult to come up.
Speaking of changes, it looks like Hazenator changing their main hand weapon.
Very, very interesting choice by him because we know one of the cards from Bone Splitter, it just reduces all stats for 2 turns, not just one
Right.
from Forsaken Sword. The thing about Forsaken Sword is that you can draw both of the weapons and reduce stats in any part of the game if you draw one of those cards, but with the Bone Splitter, it's just one card, so it's harder to find it in your deck. But it's 2 turns of stat reduction, so that's awesome.
Yep. Yep. And the Forsaken also just deals more damage. But I don't think either one of these players is necessarily going for the full damage route. You know, they're playing a dancing type of game here, which is super fun to watch. This is game
Sure.
3 of grand finals.
Oh,
Hazenator
we see
versus
that.
Zico. There
Here
it
comes
is,
the
right off
master.
the bat. We were just talking about how hard it would be to find this scroll, and Hazenator finds it on turn 1 with no mulligan.
That's perfect draw from him.
Zico gonna have to sort of twiddle their thumbs for a little bit. They do put down 2 turns of healing to sort of try and hang in there, but this thing could be over before we know it if Hazenator decides that it's go time.
Yeah.
Also applying the tackle for the double blind.
What a hand from Hazy Nature. What a perfect hand. He got
That's
60 drain
wild.
stats, drain the buff. That's huge for him.
Right.
And also a double bind, which is it's a game breaker.
Yeah, I mean, Zico, lucky to have that healing, a couple turns of healing, but it's all going to be erased fairly quickly with all these red stats. I mean, they must have an answer. We know that they have some tricks up their sleeve. They do have the temporal shift. Oh, okay, here we go. They do have the temporal shift to sort of
But
require Hazenators to slow down. But look at all those
forget
drained applications. Oh my, not
that's
getting the
so
life
much.
steal though.
Yeah, we're gonna see if that healing pops up in the next round. That's gonna be interesting to see.
Oh, purification gonna wipe
Oh,
clean.
it's gonna clean also the healing. Oh,
Yikes! But maybe
at
only
least
25 healing or so. Yeah.
now it's gonna be more because the drain was very stacked. So I'm not sure it's gonna calculate with the 120 drain
Right.
set that his nature had before, or now with 60. We're gonna see.
All right. Health totals pretty similar. We do have, everybody has 5 in their hand. Run for cover first play for Zico, which is interesting because that was a coin flip for agility.
Sure. Didn't get the card she expected, probably.
Yeah, not the best, but Hazy did have to pay health for that scroll instead of mana, which it's sort of like dealing damage. Ooh, a sneaky blood magic for Zico.
It's gonna land.
It is gonna land. There's
Here
the
comes the
plus.
bind.
5 turns. The plus 200 so strong. Hazenator up to 374 though.
Yeah, we can see for me, his nature has the lead here, mostly because of that first draw that he had was just insane. And if you just draw a first hand like that, you're probably just crying in happiness because that's just the perfect first draw. That's crazy. And then you just
Yep.
come in the second round and you got still Lover's Lounge. So you stacked 120 drain buffs just in the second round. That's huge.
Yep. And if it wasn't for the temporal shift, the game could have been over, I think, for Zico. Here comes a run
We're
for
gonna see
cover.
the
What's
damage
it gonna
coming now.
catch? Ooh, Vampiric Gaze.
Yeah, now
Blood Magic.
Easy got double bind locked on him. Or is he gonna? How's gonna get out of that? Full HP. That's
Full
big.
HP, which is just demoralizing for Zico, who only has 13 scrolls left to peel off 450 health. I'm not saying they can't do it. We've seen them put together some pretty good strings here.
Yeah, she got an open palms now. She got one more card to make her decision. Might just be the opportunity she needs, but Hazy just got the upper hand here.
Ooh, and the mana drain. It's looking tough for Zico. Taunt is the play. Going to peel off a little bit of defense. Again, you're definitely not going to deal 450 damage if they have 40 defense. Meditate, going to pull Zico out of the hole, and then instantly spins that.
Oh, here comes the restore. That's not expected by Lynch. Now his Nature is still gonna draw all his 5 cards again.
Yeah, tough spot for Zico.
Yeah, and Zico has now 10 cards in his hand, her hand, and that's 350 damage that she gotta deal. The most differences we had in this match was Hazy Nature was able to stack all those drain status through the game, while we saw that Zico didn't manage to get all of those. Not lucky enough.
There's tackles. We get another bind, but I just don't know if it's enough. We're going to find out soon. Mutual Torment for 70. Zico in a tough spot. Hazenator with only 40 mana, though, and only 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, that's
Zico
difficult.
reacting second, though. Zico fishing for the scroll. What can I find in my last 8? Yeah, it's going to be over. Reckless punch. Zow. And Zico falls. 2-1
What
right now for Hazenator.
what a sequence of cards from Hazy. Hazy Nature, just crazy drawings, played it perfectly. He waited for that double bind to use his restore, used in the correct moment, so he played like very, very well. Very well played
Beautiful.
by Warlock here.
Beautiful indeed. And I think the switch of the main hand weapon paid off. I mean, Lin had 0 stats for a lot of that match between the what's
Sure.
the neutral scroll that steals stats? Steel, I
Still,
think is actually what it's called. So it's steel and the main hand weapon and the offhand weapon all peeling away all stats. So
for sure, for
we'll
sure.
see
And
it.
the
We'll see if
drawing
they
of that card in the first hand is just absurd. Crazy,
yeah.
crazy good match.
Especially after we had just said, oh, they're going to have to find it in their deck. They're really going to have to look hard.
You just have to say it and it happens. Just like that.
That's right. The commentator's curse.
Amazing. Looking forward for that third match. Now we got 2-1 for Hazenator, Warlock on the front here. It's going to be very interesting. Lynn is going to have to make a decision. So we'll see how she's going to play that out.
Yep, game point. And we've seen a different weapon offhand and main hand and offhand from both players at this point. So like this is what a best of 5 is all about right here is making these small fine-tune adjustments that you think are just going to give you just the tiniest edge. So we'll see what kit they come with for game number 4. Hazy could take the championship with a win here. Lynn is going to need to win this one and the next one to take home the crown. All right, we
That's
see
it.
the Titans
What we
locked.
got here.
Drum roll, please. What's going to be the kit? We see Second Wind and Forsaken on Hazenator, which is a combo we've not seen. And now we see a different combo from Lynn. Power
Wow, that's so
Staff
big. That's so interesting
and
to
Power
see.
Glove.
That's gonna be an amazing match. A lot of big changes here. I think Casey Napier is struggling so much with mana. I think he made that decision also for the agility for some rounds. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see. He's definitely not gonna need mana in this game, while Zico is
Yep.
just probably gonna wait for those combos to come. She got like 60 more mag buff now, which can hit very hard if she managed to get the right combo.
I was about to say, if Zico draws even close to as good as Hazenator drawed last turn, this game could be over in 2 turns.
That's big, big, big. I think it's a big difference here. Like playing Dusk versus Ducks is also who gets to get that blood magic to land. So if you get that blood magic to
Right.
land, you just get a big upper head too. So